All right, shalom aleichem, everybody, and welcome. Rabbi say again, officially this class is, I think, 10, 12 chevra. Some guys are out in the boondocks somewhere. That's fine. If you listen to the recording, it's good, but you just have to make sure you're up to date. I see a bunch of people who are not here. Let's talk. This today's schedule, this week's quota, and by the way, the quota was made with chachma, because next in 2 weeks starts a Hanukkah. Some of you have family vacations, so I had to cut and paste in such a way that the Hanukkah give you a little less of a thing. If you fall behind now, you're going to fall way behind. So all those who are listening to my speeches, please, if you chose this pace, be on pace. I always say there are the three big no-nos. There's kuf, kuf aleph, kuf beis are the items that afilu be'elef loy batul. Kuf is beria, afilu be'elef loy batul. Kuf aleph is chaticha royal iskabed, afilu be'elef loy batul. Kuf gimel, kuf beis is davar sheyesh le'matirim, afilu be'elef loy batul. The difference between the two is you could really split them in two sections. Beria and chaticha real eskabe don't become batul due to what? Due to chashivas. Davar sheyesh matirim doesn't become batul, has nothing to do to chashivas. It's pashut. Why give you a loophole when I don't have to give you a loophole? I could tell you to wait. And because of the difference of shot, that's why there's a difference in halacha. Suffolk beria, Suffolk chaticha real eskabe, we are mekel because it's sveka derabanan. Suffolk davar sheyesh le'matirim, because it's not a question. I know it's also possibly only the rabbanon, but the fact is, I don't feel comfortable telling you to do something when the isser could expire by itself. So therefore, a Suffolk davar sheyesh le'matirim, you go the chumrah. Another item is a davar sheyesh le'matirim only applies b'minoi. The halacha davar sheyesh le'matirim afilu be'elef loy batul, that is only b'minoi, not be'enoi minoi. Anybody remember the reasons for that? It was a lumdish, two lumdish reasons. There are two very lumdish reasons. I remember I said it and I thought you guys understood it because you gave me the facial. Yeah. But if you don't understand it, please tell me now and I'll repeat it. It's basically in Taz Hey. Siman Kuf Beis Taz Hey. You want me to explain that again? Why davar sheyesh le'matirim afilu be'elef loy batul is only b'minoi, not be'enoi minoi. That means the egg sheyesh le'matirim, if it was lost in a cholent, it becomes batul b'shishim. Only if it's lost in eggs, it doesn't become batul. What's the difference? Logically, we usually think farkert. Because logically, halachically, we believe that einamina are usually stricter. There's tam. All right. So the Taz brings two reasons. Reason number one is a very funny reason. So much so that even the Taz says, ve'ein tam zeh masbik kol kach. What's the first reason? You're making a cholent. You're doing all the right things. You're putting beans, meat, and potatoes in a cholent. You decided you're going to act like a Sfardi, and you'll put in a couple of eggs in the cholent. One of the eggs are yesh loy matirim. One of the eggs are usher because it's a fresh egg that was laid today. So that egg is usher. What's the status of this whole cholent? Now, let's talk about where you cracked it in. You can't tell, okay? So, according to the theory of yesh loy matirim, as big as the cholent will be, the whole cholent is usher because I feel about the batul. But because the egg and the potatoes and beans are min be'enei minoi, As long as there is shishim, I'll let it become batul. But why? So let me explain to you why. When you come to me with a basket of eggs and you say, Rabbi, could I use these eggs today to make egg salad on Shabbos? I'm going to say, what's the problem? You say, because over here, amongst this whole big basket of eggs, there's one or two that were laid today. So I see you tell me there's one or two non-kosher eggs. There's hundreds and hundreds kosher eggs, but it's yesh mathirim. That one or two eggs will become mutter tonight. So I don't feel comfortable telling you batul, because if I tell you batul in the Merov, what am I saying batul on? I'm saying batul on eggs. You're asking me, could I? What's that? You're asking me, could I eat eggs? And I'm giving you the heter on what's usser. Then I'd rather tell you to wait till Motzei Shabbos when no egg will be usser. So min b'minoi, over there I say that afilu be'elef loy batul. When you come to me, say, Rabbi, here's a pot of cholent. So I say, what's going on? So you say, somebody mixed in there an egg. Somebody mixed in there an egg that's noila b'Shabbos. So I say to you, you know what? How big is the cholent? Shishim. Eat the cholent. I am not saying heter on the davar hanesar. So I don't feel so bad. As long as it's batul b'shishim. That's the first answer, based on the reasoning to the Ran. And now I'm going to give you that long answer. Let me first say the answer, then I'll see what the second answer. The second answer is what Rabbi Benjamin is writing. Remember, there's a machlokes in the Gemara between Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim. Rabbi Yehuda holds min b'minoi is a bigger problem than min b'einei minoi in general, because Rabbi Yehuda proves that from dam hapor and dam hasoyer. Despite the fact that the por has so much more blood and the soyer has very little blood, when they're mixed together, the Torah makes reference to dam hapor, dam hasoyer. Why? So Rabbi Yehuda says because they're min b'minoi. The two of the same sort. The two of the same sort, as small as the dam hasar is, it doesn't become batul. That's his Pisaim Varamses. That's his twin towers, where the Rabbi Yehuda builds that min b'minoi does not become batul. Now, how do items become einei minoi? There are two ways how items could be not like the dam hapar or dam hasar. One way they could become different is it's not blood and blood. It's not two of the same items. There is another way they could become different. They are the same items, but one is kosher, one is non-kosher. By the story of Rabbi Yehuda, he's basing it all on the kachim, where they're both halik, they're both kosher, they're both great. Just as happens to be a lot more dam, and this happens to be less dam, but they're both kosher for its purpose. So how do you rate einei minei? How would it be different than Rabbi Yehuda's case? It could be either different than Rabbi Yehuda's case, that it's tasting different. It's not a case of two mixtures of the same blood. It could be meat and potatoes, or even if it's blood and blood together, or items that mix together, eggs and eggs that mix together. Yeah, some are kosher, some are not kosher. That would be if you have a beitzas treifa. If you have an egg from a treifa chicken that was lost in the bucket, what's the din? According to everybody, what would be the din? We are discussing a beitzas shenol the b'Shabbos, a beitzas shenol the b'yontif. But what should be the din of a beitzah treifa? A for sure isser of treif. Anybody listening to me? That's lost in a bucket of eggs. What should be the din? Shneir? Batel b'60. Why batel b'60? Why do you need 60? They weren't cooked together.
I
got you, huh?
No, it's not davar sheva minyan, so you need
Okay, forget about davar sheva minyan. You haven't learned davar sheva minyan is siman kuf yud. You haven't learned that. Forget about davar sheva minyan. It should be batel b'roiv, right? As long as there is more kosher eggs, it becomes non. You hear the logic? When the egg is a vadai treifa, it becomes batal baroiv. When the egg is not vadai treifa, it's a temporary isser, like the Beitza Shenol, the B'Shabbos, or B'Yantiv. You're saying I feel about Aleph Loy Batal. What's the logic? Because I feel about Aleph Loy Batal is only temporary until the night. By tonight, you could eat everything. Now I feel about Aleph Loy Batal. So now, stop a second. Let's go back. See this beautiful chap over here, and hopefully I'll answer your drasha that you gave, Rabbi Benjamin. Rabbi Yehuda says that min b'minoi doesn't become batul. In theory, the Chachamim agree with him by min b'minoi. But the type of min b'minoi that he was dealing with, two of the same kosher items. If it's not two of the same kosher items, if it's either two different items, like meat and potatoes, or if it's two of the same items, eggs and eggs, but it's not kosher. One is some are kosher, some are non-kosher. That's not dama por dama sor. So Chachamim would say, like the Vadai Beitzas Treifa, the Chachamim would say, Bata Baroim. So here, listen to the Chap. This is the punchline now. The same Chachamim say, why by eggs that are Vadai Treifa, they become Batal? Because it's different than Dama Par Dama Sor, because there's a Vadai Treifa there. That will not apply when you're dealing with a Beitza Shenol, the B'Shabbos Yontiv, because that's not a Vadai Treifa. When you wait till the end of the day, it's two kosher eggs. And when it's two kosher eggs, that's what the Rabbi Yehuda is right. Dama Par Dama Sor doesn't become batal. We don't look at the mixture the way it is right now. We look at the mixture how it would be tonight. By tonight, it would be like Dama Par, Dama Sor, two good guys together. And the Chachamim agree with that logic. Hey, why is that Avram Yitzchak? Aaron Yaakov? So you, Aaron Yehuda, close enough. So did I answer your question? I'm not good in reading long English speech. You hear the chap? It's a lumda shachap. The reason why min b'minoi, the reason why davar sheyesh le matirim only applies by min b'minoi, because when it's min b'einoi minoi, it becomes batul. Everything becomes batul as long as it has shishim. Only when it's min b'minoi it doesn't become batul. But if either it's dam hapar, dam asar, right now they're the same, or one more thing, even if right now they're not the same, at the end of the day they'll become the same. It's like dam hapar, dam asar. But by min be'enei minoi, it's nowhere near the same. So over there it becomes batul. B'shishim. That's a lam b'shesvara. All right. Because of all this, Rabbi said, because of all this, you have to think about something. We're making such a big difference if the egg is mixed b'minoi or the egg is mixed b'einei minoi. B'minoi, it doesn't become batul. B'einei minoi, it does become batul. How do you rate min b'minoi here? Basar taima or basar shma? You remember that machlek is the Ramah and the Shach? The Ramah holds in Siman Tzaviches, you go basar taima. The Ramah holds you go basar shma. The Shach had a mega Shach attacking him. It's definitely basar taima. And then there was a compromise that by Truma and Arla and Yayin Esech and those items that don't become batal b'shishim, over there it's basar shma. So what's about the davar sheyesh matirim? The davar sheyesh matirim also doesn't become batal b'shishim, and there's a big difference min b'minoi min b'einei minoi. How do you rate Now here, min b'minoi. So when you look in Shach Gimel, he says this point. Nira, now this is the same Shach that in Tzaddik Ches was screaming that it's Basar Taima. In Shach Gimel, Siman Kuf Bey says, Nira, the Hacha Azlinam Basar Shma, V'loi Basar Taima. Legabe, whenever you use the rule, Afilu Be'elef Loi Batel, it obviously Tam is not the maker or break it. Because Tam should become Batel B'Shishim. So hence, since over here you're saying, see, this wouldn't make a difference. It wouldn't make a difference by Bari and Chaticha Reus Kabed. Why not? Why wouldn't it make a difference? What's the Shach going to say by Bari? It's also Afilu Be'elef Loi Batel? No. Somebody chap. Why is he only saying this by Beria? Yeah, speak. Somebody's saying that. No, nothing to chashivas. Because since by Beria and Chaticha Leruyas Kabet, I don't care how you rate it. Do you rate it Mina or Aini Mina? The din of Afilu Be'elef Loi Batel applies by both. But I love when I see that smile on the Mishner's face. But by Davar Sheyesh Loi Matirim, where it only applies by Minoi, by Einay Minoi, it does apply. Excuse me, I need to know how do you rate Minoi and Einay Minoi? You got it? That's why the Shach said it only here. Reb Moshe Klein, you with me out there? All right, right there again. Right here. So let's move on. So once we're on the topic of min b'minoi, min b'einei minoi, the last Ramon, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to start speaking about things, even though I covered this Davar Sheyesh Matirim last year. I'm going to speak about things I didn't mention last year. So what's the last shtickle on the Ramon, Sif Aleph? Look at Sif Aleph and Siman Kuf Beis. Says the Ramah, oh, you made such a big deal. You made such a big deal from the difference between Minoi and Einay Minoi. I'm dizzy here. What would be to do it then? Im libnu ba Michael. Which means to say, you were making a cholent, you were making challah, and you use this egg to make the challah look like an egg challah. Or you use the egg as a stuffing shemalua b'taina goylus. Why? What's unique about these examples? A taina goylus obviously is fleshik. The egg is an egg. Egg and chickens are as far as you would think as min be'einei minoi. If this egg was stuffed into a stuffing, or if this egg was libnu b'maichel, you would think it's a case of min be'einei minoi. And despite the fact that the egg is only temporary usher, you would say it should become batal b'shishim because it's min be'einei minoi. These examples making b'minoi. And the Shach and Taz, Shach Hey and Vav and Taz Vav say, despite the fact that it's two separate items, the egg in the stuffing of the chicken or the whitening of the pot, despite the fact that it's definitely two separate items, but because it makes up this dish, it's as if it's min b'minoi. And it would be afilu be'elef le'batel. You hear that? They're different items, but because it makes up this dish, it has a gather of min b'minoi. It's very important to stress this, because 2 pages further, the Taz and the Shach have it out about a statement the Ramah makes. The Ramah makes that Davar Sheyesh Matirim doesn't become batel only when there is mamashus. when the egg was taken out of the cholent, but the taste of the egg is still there, the Ramah says, then it does become batul. Then you can eat that cholent on Shabbos because the taste of the egg is minimal, and you have 60 times the size of the egg in the cholent. The Taz and the Shach don't like that. The Taz and the Shach say, why should we let the time of the egg be nisbatel? The same svara Rashi has in Masechta Beitza applies on the time of the egg. Just like the egg becomes, the Isser expires, much as Shabbos, the time will expire. So why let it go as is? Right? But the Ramah held that the time does become batul. So the Taz says, I don't get what you're saying. You're telling me the time become batul, and then in Sif Aleph he told me stuffing doesn't become batul. Libnu b'meichel doesn't become batul. Aaron Yehuda, is that a question? It's a stira. This is a question that Taz asks in Sif Katan Yud. And Shach in Sif Katan Tes. The answer is that by the stuffing in Sif Aleph he's talking about where there's still some of the ma'amashas there. Then, despite the fact that it's egg and chicken, but because it makes up the dish, I feel about the flay bottle. Later on, the Ramah is saying where you took everything out and all you have is tam. Then the Ramah says, I'll let it go, which the Shach and Taz don't. Yeah, which leads me to the next. What happened to you, Chavrusa? Schneider Polter, what happened to you? Leads me to the next point. Kli Shenes, you told me that Kalim, now you told me that the Tam is a machlokes. According to the Ramah, Tam that gets mixed up, even though it's an Isser Tam Sheyesh Matrim, becomes batul. So a whole halacha gimel shouldn't be a problem. Whole Siv Gimel shouldn't be a problem. In Siv Gimel, the discussion is about a keli. You used the wrong keli. You used a milcha keli for fleshik or a non-kosher keli for kosher. Not about the food. Sorry, I'm going back to another. The keli you misplaced. There was a non-kosher keli that was supposed to be thrown away or koshered. You misplaced it. You open up your cupboard and you have a whole set of dishes. One of those dishes are either fleshik amongst the milchik or isser amongst heter, and you can't tell which is which. Incidentally, in Basa B'cholov, there's a very similar shaila where you open up the dishwasher, you open up the cubby, and you see that the dishes are here, and it looks like they were washed together. Washing together milchik and fleshik dishes could be a shaila, according to some. But over here, we're not talking about washing together. We're talking about I can't identify which is the isser, which is the heter, which is the milchik, which is the fleshik. So if you would accept the Ramah in Siv Dalid, there wouldn't be a shaila b'chlal. Why is there no shaila? We're not dealing with the isser. We're dealing with the tam. A keli is not usser. Keli has the belief of the tam of this. According to Ramah, if it's only the belief of the tam, you let it roll. You let it be mevatel. Yet we have to have a whole lumdus here. In Seif Gimel, the Mechaber says, Kli shenesar beblias isser. If there's a non-kosher keli, shenes arev ba'achedim, which became lost amongst other dishes, ve'ein nikar, batel beroiv. Ve'ein donin oisei kedover sheyesh le'matirim. Now, this seems to be very good, according to the Mechaber, even according to Ramah, meaning to say, there is no din of yesh le'matirim. But the Ramah, pardon my chutzpah, puts his foot in the mouth here by giving a different reason. He says, the keli is not becoming kosher automatic like the egg at the end of Shabbos. It's an expense. You have to ask somebody to come kosher. It's an investment. There's money involved. There's effort involved to make the koshering. That's not like the egg. Why did the Ramah give that reason? The Ramah in the next sif says, any Isser Tam becomes batul. This is one of the tiniest the Shach has on him later in some Sif Dalit. But let's understand what the halacha is over here. The halacha over here is, Azvas, that if the keli, the halacha over here is, if the keli is lost, the rule of Yesh Le Matirim does not apply. And therefore it's batul b'roiv. So I have here a very favorite story, a very favorite shaila that once happened in Israel. And it's a Geshmaka shaila. Moshe Klein writes, the Taz says you cannot leave them for any period of time without doing a gola. Thank you. I'm going to get to there. So you want me to do that part first? I'll let you answer me first. Why does the Taz say that? Based on what halacha? Why is he, if the Shulchan Aruch says it's batul b'roiv, why is he being more chomer than what the Shulchan Aruch says? First of all, I'll tell you the story, and then I'll get back. I'll get back to the background of this halacha. There was a big Shabbaton in Israel, a major Shabbaton in Israel. Women from all over the world came to a Torah Shabbaton. I don't know what it was. So what do you mean? This is not. Wait. This is not tam in food. This is kalim, which have tam in it. Kalim become batul. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. So there's a story that happened. This is a Ma'aseh Shahaya, and I saw it in a sefer, and it's very important to discuss this. A woman convention in Eretz Yisrael, somewhere in Yerushalayim. So that's there over Shabbos. So they designated an area. They designated an area in the lunchroom, in the lobby, whatever, for the women to light Shabbos candles. So they put one table full of tea lights, a second table full of tea lights, and guess what happened? What happened was there was an overflow. They needed more space. So the Goyish waiter put a small chair, bench, chair, to make an extension so the overflow should put their tea lights there. Sure enough, they put the tea lights there. And then what happens? The candle is extinguished. So the waiter takes off the candles and takes the chair and puts it in the. We need some chair. We need the chairs. So one Frummy went running to the Rav. He said, we got a major problem here. Who can figure out what the major problem is? We got a major problem. You heard the story once, aren't you now? The story that so what's wrong with the buses? So good. Buses is usher. It's much worse. Much worse is the chairs became muktzah. You heard the story once. The chairs became muktzah. And it's because it's a bus, it's a davar aser. So muktzah you're not allowed to use on Shabbos, at least with the Rabbanan. And then the waiter mixed it amongst the 500 chairs. If it's a davar sheyesh le matirim, because the chair is mutter much of Shabbos, then everybody has to stand all Shabbos. So maybe we can't use them. What do you think about that, huh? How are you going to answer that problem? You can't call me because it's Shabbos by me. You're in Israel. What are you going to do? So there is a tzlach. That's the Noid Yehuda wrote a sefer tzlach and different mesechtas and shas. He's mechadish, a very beautiful svara. His svara is, we never say davar sheyesh matirim on kalim. We say davar sheyesh matirim on food. Only on food issues you might be machmir. Davar sheyesh matirim. On kalim, it's brought over here in the Pesach Tshuva also, by the way. In Pesach Tshuva, it's brought. At the end of Pesach Tshuva Vov, Yeah. Why? What's the svara? The svara by food, you can't eat. We're not maligera. We can't eat food twice. It's whenever you allow me to eat it, I'm going to eat it once and it's done. So the question is, should I eat it now or should I eat it later? Now means you're mater me with the loophole of heter. Later means, but I don't have the benefit of both. It's either now or later. By kalim, it's not a choice either or. The question is, I want to use it now and I want to use it later. So in that case, we don't apply that's a lumdish svara from the Noda B'Yehuda. We don't say davar sheyesh lamatim. Why should we allow you to use it v'isser when I could use it later beheter? I can't use it late. I could use it later beheter, but I'm not going to be able to use it now. Food, it's a one-time problem. So give them the benefits for the better time. But a chair or anything like that, that was the lumdus. If you know the Rav Chaim Kanievsky's brother-in-law is Rav Zilberstein. He was asked to Shaila, and that was his psak din. Okay, so now you know who you're going to call Rav Zilberstein. You call him Chulon. All right, let's go weiter. Let's go back to Moshe. You didn't answer my question. Why you told me that the Keli who said it? Taz, that you can the Taz, despite the fact that the Rambam says, the Mechaber says, it's Bato B'Raiv. You said the Taz says you can't leave them any period. You have to kasher it. So first, two things. Number one, Shnei, are you with me? Number one, why are we so easy? You have fork spoons that are lost amongst the kosher spoon. Why are we just going Bato B'Raiv? Is there anything else? You have the Yiddish guilt? I might be eating with a porky spoon. I have a solution for you. You know what your solution is? To make you kasher it, I don't have to do that. But chachik, I'll tell you, do me a favor. Wait 24 hours. Don't eat it now. Because if you use it now, within the 24 hours, that fork, knife, spoon, pot, whatever it is fresh pork. Wait till it's pogum, and then it's anyways at the rabbanon, because it's nice in time with gum, right? So that I'm surprised that you didn't bring that. That is brought in Shach and Taz also. That you shouldn't, even though the Mechaber says Bato B'Raiv, that's after you wait 24 hours, because you have another way how to diminish, lower the severity. So Yosef Yitzchak writes, so Yosef, you don't have a camera. I have no idea where you're from. Baruch Hashem, we have students from all over. Right here, we have students from India and all over the world. So where are you? So the bittul here doesn't apply from tam. The reason to be matir, it's because it's mixed. Right? Right. The keli and keli, I don't know which keli I'm going to pick, because it's a roiv heter. Next time I'm going to use a keli, it's going to be the kosher. But don't, according to the Shach and Taz, don't just rely on that. You should wait 24 hours. Point one. Then there is another point, and this is what Moshe mentioned, but I need to explain it. There is a siman later on, siman kuf tes, where it speaks about the halacha of bittul b'raiv. Let me ask you a question. You went today to Walmart, or in your case, you went to Jewel Asco in Chicago, which is close enough. Jewel Asco is not a kosher store, but it has a whopping kosher section. I'll confess my sins. I drive to Chicago before Pesach and get all my kosher meat from so there is a kosher section. Let's say you took a steak from the kosher section, and then you realize one steak's not enough. You need 3 steaks. So you take 1, 2, 3, and you went home, and you're about to make a grill. You unwrap the steaks, and you put it on the counter, very nice. Then it's in a pan, and then you look in the wrappings, And you say, oh my gosh, two of them, some of them are the kosher wrappings. Because it's a non-kosher store, the non-kosher steaks were so close. One of these steaks is Hormel. Hormel is chazer, is non-kosher. But me and you don't. We're looking at the steaks like a hun b'nei adam, and we can't tell which is the kosher, which is the not. You say the kosher. One of the wrappings says it's not kosher. What am I going to do now? No, what's the title for this shayla? Min b'minoi yavesh b'yavesh. What's the din? What's the din? Rive is good. Rive is good. Tell me, you grew up in a Hasidic family, right? Are you going to go and say, yummy, I'm going to sit down now and grill all steaks together, and ich will essen chazer mit der bracha? Is that you don't have the guilt? You're going to say Hashamnu after? First you're going to eat it, and then you're going to say Al Chet. How does that make sense? So later on in Shulchan Aruch, there are three shittas about that. It for sure is batel b'rayv. Yes, it's batel b'rayv. But it's the fart. There's a one piece of chazer here. So the Shulchan Aruch gives three opinions. Mechaber, Ramah, whatever. One opinion is you can never eat all three in one setting. Cook one for lunch, one for supper, and if you're crazy enough, one for breakfast. So at least every time you eat one steak, you could say, oh, this is the rive. Another thing is, not one person can't eat all three steaks. The steaks are kosher, but not for one person. You got to distribute it. Because if you're eating all three, you're for sure eating chazer. The Ramah is the biggest machmer. The Ramah says, no, on top of all that, I need you symbolically to throw one away. Symbolically. And now take all those shittas and talk to me about our kalim here. A kalim here, you know that one of these pots you bought on an auction from Burger King. It's chazer fat Burger King in one of these pots. You just can't tell which is which, so you're going to just let it go. And next thing you know, your potatoes, your luxury, your cooking has emes of chazer fat there. How do you apply those shittas here? So that's what Moshe. Now you understand what you wrote. That's what the Taz is saying. Please look in the Taz Ches. What is this? Taz Ches. 5 lines from the end, 6 lines from the end. When we call Mokim Nira, the Alpha Pisha Mutter Lishtamish B'chol HaKelim Ha'elu Shenis Arvu, because it's Batel B'Rayv. Nevertheless, no. Don't keep it as is forever this way. Sooner or later, you have to kasha them all. Misafik. What's the suffix? Since the Isser is only easy b'rayv, because it's pots. Havalayu din yavesh shabata b'rayv yavesh shemavur dinay b'simen kuftas sha'asel achlam kula yachad. You can't eat them all together. So what happens if you make a malava malka for your community and you need a lot of pots? Suddenly you're going to use 3 pots. 3 pots you're going to use. You're for sure using Isser. Yesh kan lachush. Shema b'zman meruba yishtaka chateruvis. V'yave l'ade v'tashel shemes basha b'chol chateruvis yachad. V'yave l'dei iser al kain roi loy lahachshir kulam misafik. So there's this halacha which looks very simple. Sif Gimel. It looks has a lot of spices. So what did you see right over there? Personal experience. I moved into our residence in New Delhi. Israel foreign minister had it stocked with cutlery dishes. I knew the previous ambassador was not Shemesh Shabbos. So what did you do? That's a different case. You're a completely different case. You koshered it all because you knew that all the kalim were not kosher. That's what you. Over here, it's fakert. The majority of kalim are kosher. Over here, it's even a bigger chiddush. The majority are kosher. I still kosher everything sooner or later. I don't have to do it right now, because if I ever have to use old dishes, I'm for sure gonna see if I'm only gonna continue using one dish. The assumption is I'm always gonna use a clean one because that's the majority. But if it's gonna be a gathering and you use all of them, it doesn't apply. That was geschmack. What else? Rabbi say, you know what? I'm gonna stop a little early just for a pashut reason. I must do davar. I must do Noising Tam Libgam next year. Next year, Mitzvah Shem is Wednesday. What is it today? What am I? What day of the week today? Today is Tuesday. It's a Mishnah. The next year is Thursday. You must at least be at the tip of the iceberg of Noising Tam Libgam. If you could learn it through, so I could clean up your mess, that would be even better. But please catch up to. I already posted. If you saw on the WhatsApp. Yehuda, are you on the WhatsApp? I posted charts for this already. And it takes my kishkis out. The worst thing I do to myself is when I write a chart. Because when I write a chart, I have to answer it. For me to answer it, it's like Himmelgeschreck. Because I want to make sure but I do it because I want to keep you guys on track. Some things I have from older groups, but these what I'm making now, the charts are new. So please, please, please be up to date. Don't let things for the last minute. Culture Basuras Tavis.